Richardson, and welcome to the premiere episode of Turtle Times Nature News Network, your weekly dose of news, happenings, and events in the Virgin Islands. Summarizing today's news, we note, of course, the launch of Ttnn's parent, ClimateChangeVI.org, a production of Camp Umoja and the Environmental Rangers. The Smith Bay Water Bay area makes our list as our first weekly hotspot for its community effort to begin solving the problem of severe flooding of the area after rainstorms. Mando Bay Estate gets its long-awaited waste management convenience center. And deadlines are fast approaching for government departments and agencies to submit climate change mitigation plans. We will have these news items for you and more when we come back.
Live shout out to the happy islanders. Diverman, rocking it deep in the Caribbean Sea, shooting them fish with the camera. Yeah, for the environmental legacy, rock it in the deep blue sea. For the environmental legacy, taking pictures of the fishes for you and me. For the environmental legacy, oh. Rocking in the deep blue sea.
Thank you again for viewing the Turtle Times Nature News Network. I'm Samari Richardson, Ttnnn News Anchor. Today marks an important occasion for Camp Umoja and the Environmental Rangers. Its local environmental news, research, and events website, ClimateChangeVI.org, went live. The brainchild of Carl Coward, ClimateChangeVI.org is a platform to which Camp Umoja and the Environmental Rangers intend to further inform islanders of the values of environmental heritage. Earlier today, we sat in a discussion between Anna Francis, founder of Camp Umoja, and Carl Coward about what ClimateChangeVI.org is and what it intends to do. Let's listen in.
Good afternoon, Anna, and I am Carl Callwood. And what's happening here today is that we are launching the website ClimateChangeVI.org. Now, over the next few weeks to a month, we'll be launching new environmental programming on a regular basis, basically about one program a week, so that we can basically do a slow and gradual introduction to our perspective on wildlife, the environment, environmental heritage, and climate change in the Virgin Islands. But first, before we go into the website, Camp Umoja and the Environmental Rangers, this is your organization, is actually the producer, and you've engaged me to do this website as basically both an educational and an outreach opportunity for the people of the Virgin Islands.
Exactly.
So give just a few words a little about what Camp Umoja and the Environmental Rangers are.
Well, the basic mission of Camp Umoja is to provide a location where the community, from newborn to our elders, can come and just commune with nature. Be at one, be at peace with nature. Learn to appreciate, to become invigorated with all that's here for us to enjoy. Our motto is, unity with nature promotes unity among man.
Unity with nature promotes unity among man. And that is a very apt motto, especially in the times that we are in,
Yes.
where we could use a little of the peace and quiet of nature and the environment.
When most people think of the creation of the world, they always go back to Genesis. right? Or other people, when we even go back to Africa and the birthplace. When you look at pictures of Africa, of the biodiversity, of the animals and the plants and then the landscapes, you know, from savannas to waterfalls to mountains with snow on them. Our environment is so beautiful and it's so peaceful. And that's what God put for us to enjoy. So when you get in when we learn to get back to what was put here on this earth, on this planet for us to enjoy, then our bodies calm down, our minds calm down, and we can relate to one another. So I feel like we have done so much developing of what we have already that we had lost sight of how nice it is just to commune with our plants. Camp Umoja is here to educate and invigorate.
And that's good. And now, what we're doing with the climate change VI now is we're talking about moving that same peacefulness, the invigoration, into people's homes so that they can get a further introduction to it.
Yes.
Now, there are quite a number of websites out right now of local groups, local organizations, local activities, whether it be the environment, whether it be swimming program, whether it be the STEM program, various type of science things. But one of the things that we noticed, I think especially when we started having to deal with the Mandal Bay issue a short while ago, was that while there is a lot of activity going on and there's a lot of data being gathered, really and truly it's not in a manner where people can just go one place, see everything that's happening and make their own informed decisions. And additionally, sometimes some of the perspective that you might need, not just the fact that, okay, here's this, here's this, here's this, here's the science to do this, here's the science to do that, but what you need to really and truly apply this into your daily lives.
Yes.
Because I've talked to a lot of people out there, especially during the Mandal Bay issue and other environmental things and that stuff, and people are concerned, but what is most important to the individual? Making certain that they have food on the table, clothes on the back, shelter for the family. And what we're seeing is that very often it's like, hey, I gotta deal with this. I don't need to deal with saving this animal or that animal or the other. So one of the things that's going to happen with this website, and the reason we aren't calling it environmental this or environmental that, but climate change VI, is because you actually can put more food on the table, more clothes on the back, and have more secure shelter if you go back to the tenets of nature that human beings survived on for tens of centuries, millennia, before we came to this modern age.
And I like the fact of climate change because that also highlights, you know, we had gone so many years without major hurricanes that when we did have Hugo and Marilyn, and in the United States when they had Katrina and Sandy, they did not know or did not remember necessarily what devastation could occur. And we have forgotten our own guts or areas that would flood.
And some of them got built over and wow.
And the way that we, you know, why is it at one time we didn't build several story buildings? Or why did we have certain type of roofs? Or why did people build their houses up or do things a certain way? So yes, so it's good to, sometimes we don't think about the climate and its effects on our daily lives and the food that we have. And we have to remember we live on an island. So how can we be sustainable with our environment?
Okay, because we've had some discussions, because we do need to wrap up, because a lot of this is what's going to be, you're going to be seeing this, we're actually going to be doing the experiment,
This is
doing the research here, sometimes repeating the experiments, research, and observations that other island groups do, because you need that outside independent verification. There's too much misinformation on the internet, even about the Virgin Islands, our environmental heritage and even species identification.
Yes.
Okay, and so what we're doing is we want to create a resource where actually we can interact with all those other groups, interact with teachers, interact with scientists, interact with specialists in the field.
And we can't forget our citizen
And
scientists,
our
because
citizen
as they go out
scientists,
there
yeah.
and they discover something, we come back, and that you just talked about the identification,
Yeah.
because technology has improved so much that we're now even down to the cellular level when
Yeah.
we're talking about identifying what species, you know, an organism they grew up.
It was like 25, 30 years old, and there was no new published data or anything.
Exactly.
So what I had to do was actually jump in the water myself.
Yes.
Okay, you and your rangers and whatnot went up to the bush, did kayaking, and we started documenting and reporting what we were seeing. Started logging facts of, okay, certain times of year the water is this quality, certain times we have this
Exactly.
amount of algae grew up, etc. And find out, okay, what's normal, what's not normal. What is not, because there's sometimes things are natural that we say, wow, oh, that's so ugly, that's so nasty, that's so stinky, but there's a reason for the process.
But
Okay,
this is
and-
just awesome. This is just awesome. You're gonna have to stay tuned with
Yeah,
us
because,
and come
yeah.
back for every episode, and guess what? When you get our information, you have a whole week to digest it, to verify, to research.
And ask us questions.
Exactly. Excellent.
Ask questions.
Send in the questions.
Thank you, Anna and Carl. It looks like we have a lot of interesting things to look forward to. In other news, on Tuesday, July 26 at 7 p.m., the Virgin Islands Conservation Society, in association with the Smith Bay Community Action Foundation and Horsley Witten Group, hosted a town hall meeting to roll out a study of the Smith Bay and Water Bay watershed. The study is made possible through a VI Department of Planning and Natural Resources Non-Point Source Pollution Control and Management Information CWA 319 grant. According to the press release issued by VIX, the purpose of the study and education outreach efforts are to define and analyze root causes of stormwater and non-point source pollution in the area, develop a watershed management plan, and to inform and engage stakeholders and the general public. Members of the community attending the meeting chimed in with their concerns and suggestions, highlighting industrial sources of well water pollution, concerns about whether property taxes would increase to fix the flooding issue, and even suggestions to capture, store, and utilize heavy runoff in the area. Moving on to other events. Mando Bay residents finally got a peek at the long-awaited VI Waste Management Authority Mando Convenience Center by way of an open house. Thank you, Jason Butson and the Environmental Association of St. Thomas St. John for providing video of the event. We've snipped a few clips from it to show you, and of course have a link on this page so you can watch the entire open house video.
And then drop off their trash in each particular bin, that would be great.
There's markings on the pavement here,
Okay?
and people will come in and pull up to, if this bay is open, the one we're looking at.
Okay.
This is open. They'll come here. They'll step out of their car, come up to this chain, and this chain is for their protection, and just place the trash bags right in the compactor. Then every couple of hours, the attendants will come down and operate the compactor to make more room for more trash.
And that's why there's a 200-gallon a day generator that's supporting the power for these,
For
which we'll
this,
also look at.
and also for the attendants up here in the office.
Oh, yes.
Because of computers,
Right.
their security systems, they have to have water. The septic is self-contained. We process our wastewater on site behind the building.
Great.
And then use it here in the planting areas.
That's
as
very
clear
good.
water. So everything, we try to reuse and recycle as much.
On the topic of government agencies, on October 15, 2016 deadline in Governor Kenneth E. Mapp's climate change executive order is fast approaching. On October 15, 2015, Governor Mapp issued Executive Order 474-2015 entitled Preparing the Virgin Islands of the United States for Adapting to the Impacts of Climate Change. Under Section 2, Subsection A, the Governor ordered all departments, instrumentalities, and programs of the Government of the United States Virgin Islands shall evaluate the vulnerabilities in and risk to their operations and missions. Each agency shall develop and implement agency adaptation plans that not only address risk reduction but also integrate climate change adaptation considerations in future project and program design and implementation. The first agency adaptation plan shall be completed within 12 months of the date of this order. Here at Ttnnn, we applaud the Governor for the creation of the Agency Adaptation Plan and look forward to reporting on the plan after October 15th. One of the things we like to encourage on this website is user submission of unique, engaging, and intriguing imagery of environmental encounters in the islands. Each week we will select a few pictures and videos to be highlighted during our broadcast or in other programming. This week's animal image was submitted by our very own Ray Hendrickson. Our set designer found this spiteful critter snuggling up in some lumber. It's a scorpion. Keep that thing away from me, okay? Yes, the Virgin Islands does have scorpions, and when it's hot and dry, they may venture towards homes for shade, moisture, and even standing water. Throughout this week, CCVI will talk to local experts and bring you the official 411 on scorpions in the Virgin Islands. They do deliver a nasty sting, and there are precautions you can take to keep them out of your home and safely in the environment where they belong. Thank you again, Ray Hendrickson, for submitting our animal image of the week. We wrap up our broadcast with a little treat, our crop of the week. Each newscast, we will bring you something that is in season, tasty, and nutritious from VI soil. Midsummer in the Virgin Islands is, of course, Kennep season. Delicious. Well, that's our broadcast for the week. I am Samaya Richardson, wishing you sunshine to brighten your days, rainfall to water your crops, and fresh trade winds to keep a cool smile on your face. This is Turtle Times Nature News Network.